And hello everybody, I'm Dan Luce and welcome to the Frontlines and the battle against the deep state, the cabal, the Illuminati, and all those that wish to enslave all of humanity for their own selfish reasons. And nothing more selfish than Gavin Newson and say Nancy Pelosi, because I'm sure she's part of the deal. We're looking at a situation where the people of California are being evicted from California. They're being forced to leave in droves. They're doing it in many ways, but you can tell that there's a lot of fires going on, and these fires seem to be started not by lightning, right, but by some sort of laser from space called a DO weapon. It's a particular weapons platform from space, and there is evidence of it. Now, we had covered this back when we actually saw house fires where only the building itself burns down. The plant life and everything around are not affected. Remarkable. How can that possibly be, right? And we saw actually some video images where we could see that there was a blue light that was coming down, right, through, and that was caught, right? So now we have another instance where this is being caught on with a imaging system, and we're going to go over that. First, on the couple of housekeeping items, this program is brought to you by me and by way of your donations. Please keep the donations coming. No donations as from yesterday, but there was a PayPal link problem. I have fixed it, meaning that PayPal changed how they did their links. Why they would want to deactivate a whole line of links there and have people make new ones, I do not know. But the new link is in the description, so please do go ahead and try to use that one, and it should be fine. Otherwise, you can contact me by way of Telegram or email. Those information is down below in the description. Also, we have coming up in, I think about less than an hour, the California Assembly meeting is meeting. It is a Zoom meeting. You can get there by way of the LifeForce app, or go to the lifeforce.global, and you can find the app details there, and then you can look at the California Assembly, and you can join that. Now, there's also a Q&A session coming up with Tank and Kim tomorrow. That information is also, I believe it's 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that will be for question and answer. So you can submit questions, and the details for that are on the site. I believe it's Big Ideas at lifeforce.global. But please check that out on the website and get the proper details. Best way of doing that is copy and paste. So we're going to go ahead and go through the stuff about what's going on in California. Of course, I have a personal interest in that, so that I spent most of my adult life in California. I've seen the corruption up front and personal. On many ways, on how corrupt it actually is. It is just a complete puppet show. Everything is just an act to keep the people docile while they basically robbed everybody blind. And that is what's going on, right? So we're gonna go deep into this, to discuss this, and see what this is really all about. If you look at how I titled this particular episode, it was about Governor Newson evicting all occupants of California so the Chinese can move in. Because that is actually what is happening. the Chinese do not want to intermix. No, they want to take possession, and they want to move everybody out. So this is the reason why they are basically moving people out of the rural areas by burning down all the areas. They're going to make laws that basically say, oh, it's the people causing the problems, right? The people are causing the fires out there. So we've got to protect the wildlife. People are bad. Protect the wildlife. People, you cannot no longer live in those rural areas. You have to come to the cities. But at the same time, making the cities unable to be lived there. The unreasonable rents, right? Number one, you can't even rent a place. And even if you can rent a place, you can barely pay for anything else, right? So they're forcing people out of the cities by making them unable to be lived in. Otherwise, you live on the street, you live in substandard ways, and that forces everyone to leave the state, and they're leaving the state in droves. So we have to really look at what they're actually doing and what their plans are. So I'm going to look. So we've got 8 viewers. So yes, we are early today. So just I'm trying to bring it back to earlier, but because of the assembly meeting, I wasn't planning on really doing 9, but 10 o'clock. But since I didn't want to miss what's going on in the assembly, and I didn't know what time it would end, I said let's go early. 9 o'clock is why we started. So I usually start by saying good moments in the chat. I say moments instead of morning because number one, morning is one of those death terms. Trying to be in a positive light. Like how do you do that? Start changing the terminology of the language. So, and also because of time zones. Everyone is always in a different time zone that I'm dealing with. So I just say good moments because wherever you are, it's the same moment in time. Okay, so that's being that. So let me line up the first thing we're going to cover here. So let's go over to QPost. Now this is QAlerts.app. The reason is because again, QMap.pub is offline. Why is it offline? I do not know, but this is the second time that it's been offline in a week. So obviously that they're being challenged. I would also like to point out this is I'm going to go down to the bottom here just to show you something. This is one of the the places that a lot of people use. But here at the very bottom, I want to point out it says, due to Apple and Google pooling the Q apps as well as Spotify pooling our store, we've lost all income we used to pay for the servers, language translation, push app, etc. Please consider making a donation to help support our work and expenses. Thank Q. So we are being attacked every which way, and so this is why it's good to know what where other alternative places to go. So this is an alternative place from QMap. Well, I don't know what happened to them, but it seems like they are the number one place. It makes it easy to see the posts. So besides that, so it's you can probably focus on other places. I'm sorry, I'm just going to scroll up to where we left off here. I went all the way down to the bottom. Okay, so we are in. This is where we left off, I think. Let's see, what's the date on here? September 2nd. It seems about right. Yeah. But before I'm not going to go over all these right now. I'm going to actually go up to this one right here. So this is about, of course, Gavin Newsom and Nancy Pelosi. They are related. Nancy Pelosi is the aunt of Gavin Newsom. They are keeping it all in the family. And so aren't they so big smiles in front of California landscaping there, right, with all the fires? So this is actually post 4639 from September 9th. What happens when California is in serious debt and lost priority aid from federal gov due to sanctuary status, illegal status? So basically, they made sanctuary cities, made a sanctuary state, and because of that, they have created a. Sorry, my cat is being very vocal. Sorry, I stepped away there. Otherwise, she's going to make a lot of noise. So because of the sanctuary city status, Trump basically says we're not going to be sending you any aid because you're doing things that are illegal. Right. So this is their status now. Right. So what happens when California is in serious debt and all attempts to obtain a bailout from Pelosi inserted and pushed C-19 aid packages have failed? So Gavin Newsom's aunt decides that she's going to create a bailout package for all of the blue states because they've been run so poorly. She's going to get, because of COVID, a relief package to fix their state. They were in great debt before. This is the way to get them out of debt. So what happens when California is in serious debt and decides to implement resident overreach by extending statewide shutdowns, incurring massive economic further pitfall? So basically, they're already in trouble, and they create a lockdown situation where businesses can't operate and no one can make any money. Average number of fires per year in California last 20 days, I believe he's talking about. Number of fires in 2018, 19, and 20. We're gonna go take a look at that in a moment. Outside of standard deviation, stated causes of fire. Heat? Question mark. Heat. Where is that heat coming from? Average temperatures of California per year in the last 20 days, June through December. Outside the standard deviation. Power lines are a source. What changed? What California programs are a fire prevention, forest brush have been severely cut? What other cuts have impacted the fire prevention and safety? How do you obtain federal money? Declare state of emergency and request billions to assist? Welcome to California. So let's pull up this article that Q is linking to. Oh my goodness, look what's there. It's gone. I'm sad to say it's gone. Now, I knew it was gone this morning. I actually had it loaded on my browser, but my browser, closed down, and I had to reopen everything. And when I reopened this, it was gone. So sad to say. So basically, was California professional firefighters talking about this situation on how the cuts to the fire department for prevention were taking hold. And I believe I had said, I talked about this not too long ago. Let me adjust this. See, it's not showing completely. So, the situation where they've changed how the procedures for dealing with the maintenance of the forests. They did this a long time ago. I think it was probably back in the 90s. And what they started to do was say, well, we should let nature take its course. Do not do controlled burns. So what happens then is you have all this fires that get started, say, naturally, right, by electrical discharge from lightning, right? So there's a fire that gets started. So that would be nature allowing this to burn. But when that occurs, what happens is the fire department is called, and they come and they close it and they shut down the fire. So they're not allowing nature to take its course. So what happens is that there's actually a buildup. So in essence, the fire department is taking charge of it, right? And as they were before doing controlled burns, they're now taking control of it and saying, we're going to let nature do it, but if there's a fire that occurs naturally, we're going to put it out. So that happened decades of time. So it built up this underbrush of dead material, kindling for the fire. So now it's easy to get fires started. So that's we'll go over that. So this is, of course, anything related to Q gets pulled down. So that's what we get to see. All right. So let's see. What's the next thing here? All right. So this was, of course, Nancy Pelosi and Gavin Newson in their famous picture, right? So, I'm going the wrong way. Hang on a second. This is a picture showing how many fires or how many electrical storms there are. Right, this is thunderstorms. This is an average number of thunderstorms days per year. So the red area down in Florida has more thunderstorms than anywhere else. Looking over on the West Coast, it has the least. So it's very unlikely then that you're going to be getting fires started by electrical storms, right? So if there's no lightning, no fires, right? Well, that doesn't really hold up too well because there's an increase in fires. So this is from Insurance Information Institute. Wildland fires. As many as 90% of the wildland fires in the United States are caused by people. And the remaining 10% are started by lightning or lava. So what it's looking like is that the fires are started by people if there is no other source, right? If we looked in that and there's no lightning storms, and I haven't heard of too much lava happening in California, so it must be all started by people. All right. So in January, from January 1st to September 8th, 2020, there were 41,000 wildfires compared with 35,000 wildfires the same period in 2019. So that is a whole 10,000 more fires, right? That's going, well, not quite, it's 6,000 more fires in the same period of last year, right? And so about more acreages, 4.7 million acres were burned this year compared to 4.2 last year. So more things happening there. So in early September, about 40 large fires were burning in Oregon and California and Washington, consuming hundreds of thousands of acres. In Oregon, thousands of residents evacuated their homes to escape the flames that scorched more than 230,000 acres. In California, fires are burning from the north all the way down to the Mexican border, stretching across approximately 800 miles of landscape in Washington. More acres have been burned this year than in the past 12 fire seasons. The fires are being fueled by continuing dry conditions. Okay, so let's look. What are we talking about here? You have fires up and down the entire state, from the north to the top, all the way up into Oregon. Washington, I guess is not having as many, but so you have all of these fires burning. There's no electrical shocks coming from storms, so it's either going to be coming from power lines, which is what they're suggesting. Oh, it's the power line. So when we looked at this dew laser problem in the past, we saw that they were talking about power lines. We were also looking at smart meters, and what was the conclusion? Is that smart meters were being targeted by the dew lasers. Right? They were causing overloads to occur. Right, and the heat from the dew laser, actually helps assist the power overload that's happening from the smart meter, basically creating a dual situation to create fires in the house and burn them down. Okay, so let me pull up the next thing here. Oops. All right. So this is when we were covering this from last year. This article was still here. So yes, the dew and laser weapons are being used against the American people. This is from February 21st, 2019. So dew, direct energy weapons, are no longer the stuff of conspiracy theory. In the last few months in the United States, there have been a number of incidents where dew laser weapons and perhaps other high-tech energy weapons have been openly deployed against the American people. Both Santa Rosa 2017 and Paradise 2018, called wildfires in California, demonstrate the fingerprints of the dew and seemingly impossible scenarios of houses, trees, plants, and even mailboxes left intact, while adjacent houses and fences were completely razed to the ground. Unsurprising to those following the crimes of the New World Order. The deployment of these weapons is tied to a deeply sinister UN Agenda 2030. So again, this article goes into this. So here's some pictures of what was happening. So you can see all the trees around the houses are fine, and here's some houses that are completely fine, but the houses are burned to the ground. Here's a car burnt to the ground. Another one. See, everything around the houses is fine, right? Why are these trees still there? Why wouldn't they have been burnt down as well? So it's very, very strange, right? So here's, certain area that's left, untouched, and certain others. So look at the trees. So all this stuff is being burnt down, but these are remaining. There must have been a lot of flying embers, that one says. So right here it says land grab. Right? It appears to be a massive land grab. The plan is open spaces for rulers and stack and pack micro apartments for the masses. Yes, it's important to care for the environment, but the green movement has been hijacked. There is an ulterior motive to granting rights to inanimate objects like rocks and rivers. So I guess they're granting rights to objects like rocks and rivers, a trend to which happening worldwide since this part of the New World Order agenda has been implemented via the UN. It's happening in New Zealand, India, Ecuador, by granting human-like rights to non-humans, the New World Order conspirators plan to thwart the decentralizing sovereignty of the people, kick them all off the land, and force them into human habitat megalopolises. All right, so we see that this was being covered back then. So let me see if I find. I was looking. Nope, not there. All right, so let's move on. This is from the College of DuPage, Next Generation Web Lab. So this is the type of information we're able to look at while they're actually looking from the satellites and watching what's happening. So you get an idea of the fires they're burning, where the smoke is going, where the flames are, the hot spots that are appearing on here are showing you. So they show up like little white dots on here. They're flaring up and up and down. So this kind of data is coming from the satellite, so you can see that. Now let's look at someone that's caught one of the lasers going off. So I have it frozen on this page right here. It's 28 seconds into this one. It's only 39 seconds total, but this is an enhancement, right? So they enhanced the light of different levels to pull out this so you could see it actually happening. I'm going to go back to the beginning, play it. So again, now that red would have been showing in white on the original, right? But these are the fires. You see the light coming in? Oh, it just passed it. So let me go back again. Hard to see it all happening at that time, but I'll try and go back a little bit so I can pick it up. You can see it's right there coming across. So it's basically hitting the ground at the top of the screen. There it is again. And again. So this is like repeated like hits. So lasers, just so you know, if you've ever had to deal with them, they stop, cancel this. So lasers, when you fire them, they generate heat. So if you have a very big laser that's going to be putting out a lot of watts, use a lot of energy. If you were to use a sustained beam pumping that power, it would burn out the laser. So lasers are typically going to be pulsed for a period of seconds, right? So that it doesn't overheat. There's a lot of energy being generated. They don't want that to burn out the laser. So that's why you're going to see it hit, stay there for a few seconds, and then turn off. But the amount of energy it's delivering is enough to basically cause a fire. Again, we saw that there was an agenda with these smart meters to actually, a lot of these houses that were burnt down had the smart meters. The one that didn't get burnt down had no smart meter. So it was possibly a targeting system, allowing those houses to be targeted by the DO laser. Possibly that was one of the issues. Also allowing the overload to happen, to draw in electricity, to basically allow for a bigger fire to get started. So kind of hard to say exactly what was what that all entails, because it all gets burnt down. So now let's look into this is how they're moving the people out, right? we won't go, we're not going to look at the riots. You know, we know that that's basically causing people to leave the cities. The cities are becoming unlivable, except for the super elite, right? Which have their own walls and their own areas and are not bothered. So this is a story from March. California seeking loans from China. I covered this same article before. So Washington, D.C. sources say Washington, D.C. is speaking under conditions of anonymity have revealed to the AENN that California Governor Gavin Newsom has entered into discussions with the Industrial and Commercial Bank of China, that's ICBC, to loan the state of California $1 trillion by way of a collateralized loan. What does that mean? You have to collateralize. That means you have an asset that you're putting up. But what is the asset that Governor Newsom's putting up? California? The land? Newsom is being pressed by the federal government and the proposal of New California movement to spend money from the state's rainy day fund to provide money from resources to stop the spread of the coronavirus. Newsom brags last month on The View that California has an operating surplus. BS, complete BS, known as the Rainy Day Fund of $21 billion. Critics of California governors have long claimed the Rainy Day Fund is nothing more than an accounting gimmick, and the state does not have any money for the most basic emergency services. In the video below, Newsom can be heard making the operating surplus claim at minute 30. As well, we'll play that and go there.
Thank you for having me. So nice to have you here again. You've been here before.
Yes, and I'm a California girl born and raised.
Let's skip right up to it.
27% of our state foreign-born, and more important than anything else, we're also prospering together across every conceivable difference. $21.5 billion operating surplus.
So he has a $21 billion operating surplus, right? But then why does he need to seek $1 trillion in loans, right? What is that for? If you've got that. So let's see what else is going on in California, with ties to China. So Governor, this is another article. This one is Newsom won't share details of a $1 billion mask deal with China. This is from April 23rd. Governor Gavin Newsom is facing pushback from state lawmakers, begun demanding details of a nearly $1 billion deal to receive 200 million masks per month from China, from a Chinese manufacturer. So that's, again, here's money that he's putting out, and buying things from China. What is he getting in return, from China? So he's getting all of this. So this is another article I looked at previously that I had saved that I wasn't able to pull up because it is now gone. So here's Western governors join Gavin Newsom in a $1 trillion appeal to Congress for coronavirus aid. Right, this is the aid that has been denied to them because they're not running their state properly. Right, they're basically, why do they need so much money? Because people are leaving, they're shutting down the businesses, and they say, well, we have no money. We'll open your businesses. Right. Go to the next one. Top exec from Netflix, Disney, Salesforce, and more call on Congress to provide $1 trillion in coronavirus relief for local governments. Well, it's an interesting, mix. Why are they asking? Right? What do they have to say about it? That's interesting. So let's look at this one. This is a story from New Intel. Communist China providing automatic weapons to Antifa. Black Lives Matter. It's from July 3rd. We have, blow this up a little, make it easier to read. We have a bombshell new intel to share with you today that connects some of the recent dots on the emerging violence, the civil war attempt from Black Lives Matter and militant terrorist wing of the Democratic Party. Summary of what you'll find in this article. Communist China supplying full auto AR-15 mods to Black Lives Matter militants in America, and a shipment was recently interdicted by Consumer and Border Protection. California Governor Newson is involved in a $1 trillion money laundering operation with Communist China to keep him in power. He's funneling taxpayer money to China, and they are laundering it and funneling it back to him. Using the laundered money, Newsom is stockpiling automatic weapons, ammunition, gold in the underground storage complex at 1616 Capitol Avenue in Sacramento, and the East End Complex building, block number 174. Governor Newsom is plotting with China to have communist troops invade America via California and other states to overrun and occupy the United States, turning it into a communist Chinese rule. China's EMP weapons developed using technology stolen from the United States are planned to be the first wave Pearl Harbor events that set it all off. Official report to the White House. See link below or visit emptaskforce.us. Obama helped set up the civilian military force using Operation Fast and Furious gun smuggling to the armed force narcos. Those same narcos are now trained by communist Chinese military instructors and are prepared to invade America with the aid of heavy weapons. DHS sources via Hodges, link below. So that's I think Dave Hodges, I think is what he always is reporting on that. The civil war America is facing won't be lightly armed soy boys, but rather heavily armed, full automatically willing Black Lives Matter militants, Mexican narco gangs, and communist Chinese troops operating under protection of Governor Newsom. Hundreds of companies across the corporate America are now directly funding the overall supporting Black Lives Matter's terrorists as part of the Chinese war effort to destroy America. See the full list of 269 companies. So this is the whole article. I'm not going to go any further, but you can see that this kind of confiscation of this type of weaponry is going to really cause some problems, right? So let me stop for a moment. They're pushing everyone out of the rural areas. They're pushing everyone out of the cities. They're causing rioting in the cities. They're trying to create as much uproar and turmoil as possible. The reason is because Gavin Newsom is going to end up with running this little fiefdom, California, for the Chinese. Until, a certain time period goes by and Newsom goes away, then it'll all be Chinese after that. So, he may think that he's going to be running this, Nancy Pelosi's family is going to be running this forever. But it's not the case, because the Chinese are not going to allow anyone to be there. They're going to basically push everybody out. This has been going on for a long time, right? They've been planning this. So who are their shock troops? They are the Antifa members, the Black Lives Matter. And we're not seeing, their heavy guys going in. They're all staying in the background. They're letting all the soy boys go around and cause trouble. So what we want to make sure is that this ends, right? And how does that happen? It happens after the election, right? The election is going to be the point where they're going to say, we're not going to accept the results. We're seceding from the union. You're going to see this kind of effort come about. So it's going to be up to the people to stand up and protest in mass, right? and to not allow them to go quietly and be ride roughshod over everyone. They said. Now, Newson is going to, since he's not getting money from the federal government, he's going to basically ask for UN help. That's China in blue helmets, already stationed, as reported by Dave Hodges, in Mexico, and have been part of the training there of the narcos down there. So this is, there was another reason for the wall, right? The wall is meant also to stop a force coming across. So if you know that you have a wall that you have to deal with, it takes you time to organize, get around it. That allows you, the U.S. Side, to be ready to go at it, and they can, send planes down the and get everyone on the other side of the wall if the wall is being attacked by massive military forces. So that's probably not what's going to happen. But how can they come in? They'll have to come in by ships, containers, or just on ships into the, say, Long Beach Harbor, for example, which the Chinese own, which may already be happening. We also heard of troops landing at a certain time back in March, when the DUMBs were being destroyed in California, the south of San Jose, south of the tech giant neighborhood, right? So there is something that's really it has been planned for a long time, but what is the reasoning? It's the loans, laundering the money, so to speak. So the Chinese are going to lend the money. It's going to come back to them by way of this system, because now they need to come up with ways of moving the money, and this also develops that relationship between China, so that Newsom can ask China for help. Now, do I think this is all going to work? No, but I think they're going to do it, and they're going to try and force it. They're not going to give up at this point. They're not going to say, well, you caught us, never mind, we'll sneak around the back door some other way. No, this is it. They're moving forward. This is the war. This is where it's going to get hot and heavy, and that's what we have to be prepared for. So I'm noticing that we've got about 2 minutes to go for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to, let's see, I did one more thing. Yeah, that's okay. We don't want to get, that's just another story about the $2 trillion. I was going to go over a couple points in there. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go up and show this one, which is the last one I just did. Just a quick shoot, and then we're going to launch and go right into the Zoom meeting for California Assembly, see what happens. All right, so this is just saying that the state and local liabilities total $1.5 trillion for California. So this is, what they have to deal with is that kind of a deficit. We estimate California state total state and local government's debt of as of June 30th, 2017, totaled $1.5 trillion. That's also in 2017, right? So 3 years ago. The total, including all outstanding bonds, loans, and other long-term liabilities, along with other official reported unfunded liabilities for other employee benefits. So what they're talking about is all this extra expense, and so when California, hires people at such extreme salaries beyond what is in the private sector, who has to fund it? Well, it's the people through taxes. Let's say you worked 10 years, and then you gave, and they had, I don't know if this is 10 years or not, but let's say you worked 10 years. Let's say it's 20 years. And now you just retire, and now you get your whole salary, or you get a big portion of your salary, depending on whatever the deal was. And they make their own sweetheart deals, right? Because who's paying? The public, the people. So they make these outlandish deals. They put themselves on high salaries and give them retirements for just working just one term. It's like, going to become a congressman. You get an ongoing retirement fund that goes on forever. It's like, why? Well, you volunteer, don't get any money, like Trump. All right, so while that's going on, let me pull up the lifeforce.global. Well, I'm actually going to go through the app. Now, I actually have the app on the page here. So I load it right here. So this is the Q&A that's coming up September 13th at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There we go. Now let me go over to the assemblies. I'm probably going to have to shut down some of these pages. I can tell when my computer starts going slow. Especially those satellite ones. There we go. So here's the assembly meeting, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And here's the link. I'm just going to go ahead and click it. Oh, well, that's the calendar. This is the one down below. So they scheduled them for a whole year at the same time every week. So it's launching. And as soon as that comes up, we'll see where things go. I'm going to disable my camera on here. Let's make sure. Not running into a problem. Now, usually I end up with a problem. And it says, please wait for a host to let you in. So I bring let in.
There she is. There she is.
Okay, she's here. Okay, good.
Hello.
Yeah, she's here. Hold on. Hi, Dan.
Hello. I made it.
Yay, finally. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it is finally. So actually, I'm still broadcasting on my.
Hi, Sandra.
I'm still broadcasting on my YouTube channel. I don't know if it's okay to simulcast this meeting or not, but I was just finishing up. I finished up when I went early so that I could get on here. But I can either leave it run.
We can certainly try to pass a motion about it if we like.
Okay.
But I'm going to leave that to Sandra. Sandra, you're going to go ahead and take over. Made you host.
Hello. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for giving me a few times. I'm running behind. I think it's the first time I've actually been late, so.
I thought you were having technical difficulties.
I have been switching. I've been meeting after meeting today, so it's been a fun day. Yeah, but I'm here, and I'm thankful to see that everyone is also joining. So, and I'm so glad to finally see Dan Lutz in our meeting. Thank you for being here.
Oh, I'm happy I made it. You know, so I tried.
Last time it was totally my fault. So, and I don't remember what happened.
Yeah, all the rest of the times it was my fault that I didn't make it.
Well, you didn't know about him, so.
I did know, but my scheduling was all whacked out. I'd miss it by a day. You know, I did my alarm the wrong day or whatever. The hour before I missed it. So actually, just so you know, you might have missed what I said when I came on. I said I'm still broadcasting on my YouTube channel. I don't know if it's okay. I can end my YouTube channel because I'd already finished, or I can simulcast it. It's up to you. Someone said it should be brought up as a motion.
Yeah, well, so far we haven't done that because our intention here is to eventually have a grand jury. So for that purpose, we have been very cautious about.
Okay. Well, then I will tell them goodbye. Right. Goodbye, everybody, and we'll see you on the next one. You get onto the Zoom for the California Assembly. Go join it, and then join us there. Bye.